Last year, a record 14 SEC teams made the NCAA Tournament. That includes then number 1 overall seed Auburn, now fighting for their lives to make it back to the big dance. And we'll see what other teams get in the final weekend of college basketball in the regular season in the SEC. Welcome to Southeast Sports Plus. I'm Gerhard Mathangani, joined by Gabriella Genereaux and Patrick Walsh, driving our show today. I think, Gabriella, this is an interesting year because we knew going into the season there's no way last year could be replicated. But the way the chips have really fallen, I think it surprised a lot of people.
For sure, and I think looking at this SEC now, everyone is so close. There's so many teams right there on the edge fighting for that number 4 seed right now. So it's a really interesting year watching the SEC.
Yeah, no question. Auburn last year is a team that you followed. Obviously, being in Auburn, the year is a lot different now.
For sure.
Compare what you think the vibe is in that locker room from a team that knows that they're number 1, they're going to be like one of the top dogs the entire season, as opposed to what it might be now, even though you're disconnected from the team, what it is now fighting for your life every game.
Right, and I think we've known this from the jump from this season is that there's so many new pieces right now, right? Like last year you had veteran players, you had a veteran coach, you know, a lot of pieces were really falling into place early, and I think they were number 1 for majority of the season last year. So they had a lot of confidence. They had a lot of veterans, a lot of experience on that team. And then going into this year, everyone's new except for Tahad and, obviously a new coach in Stephen Pearl. So I think there were a lot of questions on how is this season going to go with so many new pieces coming together. And honestly, I think with what we've seen from Tahad, it's almost like a lack of confidence. And that's what really good to see in the LSU game is maybe he's starting to get that confidence back a little bit. And so it's definitely been a different vibe just because there's so many new things going on. And also on top of that, Stephen Pearl came in as a new coach 1 day before practice began. So none of these players were even really committed to him as a head coach, which I'm sure has also had its challenges this year.
No question. The storylines have been really interesting, not only with Auburn, but also with a team like Missouri. They've also been kind of on this cut line. Patrick, we'll go to you here. This Missouri team feels to me like a team that if they can get in, they can be dangerous. But they have enough head-scratcher kind of games where it's like, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah, and I mean, first of all, happy Thursday. Glad to be here.
Happy Thursday.
I've kind of got my pink on, Gabriella. You'll start to learn that on Fridays I like to wear pink, so I kind of have the pink. People are going to be watching this again tomorrow too, so that's why I wanted to do the little mini pink. But talking about Missouri here, I think we made comparison between Missouri and Texas yesterday, where Texas, you're walking on eggshells, so to speak. This Missouri team, you absolutely are walking on eggshells. I mean, they're 3-3 in their last 6 games. Every time they get that big win, and they got the big win over Florida to start SEC play.
Right.
They have a couple other big wins that would make you think this is definitely a tournament team. They followed up with a few confusing losses. I mean, I know Oklahoma's starting to play a little bit better, but still, you should be beating Oklahoma if you are a true NCAA tournament team. And, I mean, I think it was the Oklahoma game this past weekend that dropped them 6 spots. It was either the Oklahoma game or the Ole Miss game. That's their worst loss. But I mean, the worst loss being against a team that's 90th in the net really isn't that bad.
It's not terrible.
When you take a look at some of the teams that we'll talk about in the top of the second hour that have much worse losses and right around the same strength of wins.
Yeah, and I think any team that beats Florida, Auburn's kind of in that same boat, where if you have that win, it feels like the crown jewel. And I feel like both Missouri and Auburn should be rooting for Florida the rest of the way just to make sure that they get in this game, and also the SEC championship game. I do think this one is big for Missouri in the larger scope of what it means for Auburn. Let's just do worst case scenario for a second. Let's do worst case scenario for both Tigers, Auburn Tigers and Missouri Tigers. Worst case scenario for Auburn. Let's say they do not get in. What do you feel like is the reaction there? Maybe against the reaction of a place like Missouri where you didn't come in with these high expectations.
Right. I think Auburn would be absolutely devastated without a tournament bid. I think especially just with the strength of schedule that they've played this year. I think they're number 3 in strength of schedule, and they have had some good wins. Like you said,
Right.
they beat Florida. They came in, obviously, with high expectations being a Final Four team. We weren't sure what we were going to see with new players, but, you know, we had a lot of great faces. Obviously, Keyshawn Hall, lead scorer for the team. They had Kevin Overton coming in from Texas Tech. So they definitely had high hopes for the team. And I know, obviously, as Bruce Pearl said, like, he feels like they deserve to get in to the tournament. And so I think that's kind of how the fan base feels and how they're rallying around this team. And I think without a bid, it would be devastating.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think that Alabama presents a lot of challenges at the end of the season, but to me, they're not unbeatable. And so I think if you're Auburn, you have to walk into that game relatively confident, considering the way you just played.
Right. And also, I think I told you this yesterday, just knowing that Auburn team, it just feels like a game they somehow will come out with a win.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the ones that you're like, I don't know, that might be hard. Those are the ones they somehow go in and come out with the win. And hopefully, if Tahad can keep that confidence, as well as obviously all Auburn, Alabama fans know, that game is just different. You go in with a different type of energy. You play a little bit harder. It just means more. And especially with Alabama coming to Auburn last season for this game, spoiling the end of the season with a win over Auburn, I think Auburn's going to have a little more juice in this one.
Yeah, and the fact that their tournament hopes there are on the line. I know we'll make our official picks earlier, but if you have a path to victory, Patrick, for what Auburn can do vis-a-vis what they did last game, what do you think it is?
Well, I think if Auburn's going to win this game, it's going to be, as you mentioned, Todd Pettiford continuing his hot streak. I believe he's averaging right around 25.5 points over these last two games. But it's just so weird because we get to this time of year, and it's for the last 2 years, it's been littered with some sort of controversy around this Auburn Tigers and where they sit in the tournament. A lot was made about them being the #1 overall seed last year. A lot of people thought it might have been someone else just because of the Alabama loss and then the eventual loss to Florida. And now we just talked the other day about Bruce Pearl basically blasting Miami of Ohio and saying how the Red Hawks should not be in over this Auburn team. And I think the best case scenario, or the best thing you can do right now, is you go into this game on Saturday. It's a team in front of you. It's Alabama. You have a chance to make it the home court disadvantage for the second year in a row. And as you mentioned, Alabama just did this last year to Auburn, spoiling the end of the season. If Auburn were to hand Alabama a second straight loss after this 8-game win streak, I feel like if you're Nate Oates and company, you've got, I assume they already had the double bye. So you're looking at probably a 4-day period where all you can think about was you've just lost 2 games in a row. Don't lose a third one because you don't want to lose 3 games in a row heading into the tournament. And if Auburn wins this game, by far and away, they are in the tournament. You don't have to do this politicking anymore. They are definitely in the tournament.
Yeah, I think their resume would put them in the tournament. As far as the path to victory, the way that I see it is just listen to Nate Oates' press conferences. And I mean, are you a Star Wars fan?
No.
I see. Are you a Star Wars fan, Patrick? I wasn't a Star Wars fan when it first came out.
I'm not. I'm not really.
I've never watched the series.
I binged it, but for all the Star Wars fans, people that are out there that are, please don't kill me for if I butcher this analogy. But there's obviously the Death Star, but there's one portal. There's like one thing that could destroy the whole Death Star.
Okay.
Well, same thing for Alabama. Alabama is one of the worst teams rebounding. When they lose games, they don't crash the boards. I think if Auburn can crash the boards, that is the path to victory for them as they move forward. There was a lot made about not necessarily Auburn last year, as Patrick mentioned, not only Auburn this year, as Patrick mentioned, but also with head coach Stephen Pearl. You talked to him, you've known him and known him and this team. Let's go off the court for a second because a lot's been made not just about what he does on the floor, but his wardrobe on and off the floor. Apparently, he's going to switch this thing up and possibly wear a suit in this one, I'm told. He wore one against LSU.
Yes, he did against LSU, and I know Auburn Nation really noticed that he was in different attire. So maybe that is the good luck charm for him. And I just know with seeing him behind the scenes, I feel like he feels in a sense he has a lot to prove this season with the Nepo baby allegations and people wondering.
I don't know if he's beating those this year.
I don't think he is, but people wondering if he really deserved that seat. I feel like every day he wakes up trying to prove that he deserves to be in that seat. And so I'm sure he is dying for this win over Alabama.
Yeah, he switched things up, wore blazer against Alabama. Of course, Nate Oates always wears a blazer, so I think it could be a situation where you get
Battle
two coaches,
of the
Battle of Blazers. And keep in mind, Alabama football.
Bring back the 2000s.
Exactly. I keep in mind, Alabama football, by the way, their whole, suspicion thing or good luck, bad luck thing has always been based around the hoodie that Kalen DeBoer wears. So I don't know if this could just be a wardrobe thing as they move forward throughout the course of the season. But Stephen Pearl, believe it or not, was asked about this during his press conference. Here's what he said.
Yeah, Key asked me to dress up a few weeks ago for his senior day, so I decided to do so. And it's I don't know, might have to. Have the Battle of the Blazers on Saturday, but no, I mean, it's uncomfortable. It's hot. I feel like I'm gonna rip through my pants every time I try and bend down. So but maybe, maybe if the guy, I'll ask the guys. If the guys want me to wear it, I'll wear it. It definitely kept me a little more calm because you're not able to. You could rip through this thing if you get too excited. So maybe we'll see. Yeah, we went back to an old ball screen coverage, which we've done a lot through these last 8 games. We just were a little more consistent with it tonight, and I thought we learned from some of the mistakes we made in previous games, which was really important. Part of it was like scout specific though with LSU and their personnel, so that doesn't work with every team. It worked really well tonight because it worked with the guys that were in the initial actions. But we just had more. We were more active with our hands. Tahad has 4 steals and KO's got 2 and Sebastian's got 2. We were just way more active, and I thought we were just more aggressive, and we were in the right positions, and we did a good job of making plays, and we were just way more active. And when you play with great energy and activity like that, anything you do is going to work. So that's what we have to continue to do in order for our defense to be able to turn teams over and be able to get stops.
We're running an internal counter here on the from Stephen Pearl.
I counted 9.
9?
I think it was 9 or 10.
Hey,
9
it's better than the cuss words.
That's very true. That's very true.
It's become his new filler.
And at least it's 9 or 10 in, I think that was 1 minute and 40 seconds, not like 40 seconds.
Right. So that's okay. So that's 9 and 94 seconds. That's what? That's not bad. Yeah. One every 10 seconds.
He's learning. He's not used to the media.
Gotta respect it.
The cameras.
Exactly. So he's gotten used to it more so now. One thing he's not used to is the wardrobe. He touched on something that I wanted to ask you.
Okay. So
he said that it was his players that came out and said like Keyshawn Overton that basically said that they wanted him to dress up, which got me thinking. As a basketball fan, I need a female's perspective on this. Okay. Do you like the casual look or the blazer / suit look? Because I feel like, Patrick alluded to this earlier, like maybe the last 9-10 years, the game has completely changed. It used to be all dress up. It used to be all suits, and now it's all casual.
Yeah, and for me personally, I think dress up. I think we've gotten too casual.
It's gotten too casual
in the game. Like, what are we doing? We got joggers on the side of the court. Like, come on now. That's the fun part about basketball. We're in the suits. We got the outfits. I mean, look at the women coaches. They show up ready to go.
That's true. So you do like, okay, so all right, let's do a hierarchy of wardrobes.
I mean, Kim Mulkey is gotta be number 1.
She is number 1. Okay, so obviously she dresses to get the cameras, on her, and she has a really good response when it comes to that. Okay, so give me a hierarchy. Do you like the suits in basketball? Do you like the uniforms in baseball? Oh. Like how the managers and coaches dress up like the players?
See, I've always found that odd.
Okay.
I don't understand where that started. Patrick, you might know the history behind.
I don't, but I also understand where the manager comes from. Like the switch over from head coach at college to manager in the pros. I do understand that.
So why though? They're not playing.
I've always thought, okay, and I could be completely wrong on this, but I always thought because maybe back in the day, the managers could fill in and play.
So I don't
So
remember
like
who was the
standby.
most famous one. It's not off. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there used to be things called player managers. So
Right.
you would still play, but
Yeah.
you would also manage the team. So I would set the lineup.
Okay, so
But I-
that's like the history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's kind of like intramural where like you could set the lineup and also make your at the same time.
Yeah. All right, so the hierarchy is suits number 1,
Suits.
and then casual joggers like dead last.
Yeah, I don't know. The like dressing up in the baseball uniform is still kind of odd to me.
suits, baseball uniforms. Too.
I mean, but being a is that not weird? Putting on a uniform
I
like
mean,
when
you
you're
just-
going to coach the game.
It probably is, but it also makes you feel like you're in
feel
the
like a
game.
part of the
Yeah,
team.
part of the team
Yeah,
and everything. Like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
baseball
They're like
teams.
their glory days.
Yeah, you just got to be such a tightly knit group, but you go suits and then maybe some things in between. 577, you put joggers right there, all the way down there.
That is 500, literally 577. Kim Mulkey is
Yeah.
one.
Bring back the
Suits.
dressing up.
And then for football, do you like suits like back in the old school days, or like what
Right.
they're doing now with like hoodies and stuff like that?
I mean, I understand it for football a little bit because you are out in the elements.
Yeah.
And you're like, the sideline's long, you got a lot of moving around to do. But I like the dressing up.
The suits.
Especially for like a serious, super important game.
Right,
I mean,
right.
if it's freezing, I hate the cold. Like, I understand, like, we need to bundle up in the cold elements. So I do understand that, but I like dressing up.
I like it. Well, see, this, like Patrick, you and I, we could have never had this topic on this show. I'm so glad
No, we
Gabriella's here.
We
We
could not
could have had it.